Now, President Biden has announced that the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is heading to the Middle East to build on the ceasefire between the Israelis and Hamas and to lay the groundwork for an eventual resumption of peace talks. Mr. Blinken's visit comes as both sides count the cost of the recent conflict, the lives of more than 250 people, most of them in Gaza. Our Middle East editor, Jeremy Bowen, has been to a Palestinian community near Beit Hanoun, where a young man and 7 children were killed. Their families blame an Israeli strike, but the Israelis say the likelihood is that they were killed by a Palestinian rocket. A warning that Jeremy's report does contain some distressing images.
It's not big enough to have a proper name. Locally, this place is called the end of Nasruddin Street. It could be idyllic. But this is Gaza, around 800 meters from the boundary wire with Israel. And on the 10th of May, the first day of the war, at around 6:30 in the evening, it turned into a small corner of hell. You can hear the shock as he says, God is greatest. And then children. Then martyr and massacre, a new massacre. Yusuf al-Masri lays his dead 7-year-old son Marwan next to the body of his other boy Ibrahim, who was 11. In all, 7 children and a young man of 21 were killed. This is Yusuf al-Masri. Like all the bereaved parents, he said the dead were martyrs for Jerusalem, killed by Israel. He accepted condolences the traditional way. His brother, still wounded in hospital, had 3 children killed. Mohammed, Yusuf's surviving son, said nothing and just listened.
اليوم بالنسبة لي رهيب جدا بشع لحتى الآن مش قادر أجيب صورته من راسي من خيالي لما تشوف أطفالك أنت قدامك متقطعين متمزعين مش عارف أوصف لك إياهم بالأكثر من هيك أكثر شيء بشاعة وجرام ما شفتش هيك بحق أطفالنا كل سنة أو سنتين عاملين لنا حرب على أطفالنا وعلينا إحنا أشخاصنا وعلى بيوتنا حياتنا في غزة لا توصف بالنسبة للبشر لا توصف نهائيا فيش حياة فيش مي فيش شرب فيش أكل فيش كهرباء فيش مستشفيات زي البشرية فيش مستشفيات عندنا.
Their homes were shelled during 11 days of war. By then the community had fled. Israel says it has no record of a strike at the time of that first attack. It says its assessment is that a Palestinian rocket aimed at Israel dropped short of its target. The family showed us shrapnel they said was from the bomb. Independent experts who've seen these photos say they're fragments of air-dropped precision munitions, not Palestinian rockets. The two sides will not agree. How you doing? Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Another family in the village is mourning a son, Ibrahim Hassanein, who was 16. His father said Israel broke their hearts and made them hate their lives when they took his boy.
بصير تتخيل انه مرمي انه بني ادم قدامك بس هاتوا لي الصوره نطلع فيه بصير تطلع بس في الصوره عشان تهدي اعصاب بدك نفسه تطلع في نفس بدك نفس البني ادم قدامك يعني ايش ما يعني بدك ابنك تتنفس فيه بدك تروح الا خاطر الطول وتنام جنبه.
The eldest son, Mohammed, showed me their home. Ibrahim was working to pay for him to study to be a doctor. The women were in the garden, never leaving Ibrahim's mother alone with her grief.
إبراهيم الله يرحمه بدأ فرحان ومبسوط وتغسل وتحمم وتعطر ويضحك في قلب الدار. ضحكته كانت غريبة كثير. وين رايح يا إبراهيم؟ هاي نهانة يمه. هاي نهان. يلف الدار زي الحمام الطيار، يطلع وينزل فوق وكان مبسوط كثير يعني يوميتها. وطلع الله يسهل عليه وما رجعش.
More people arrived to offer condolences. Palestinians don't believe Israel's insistence that it works hard not to kill civilians, warning them to get out before some raids like the one that destroyed this part of Beit Hanoun. As in the previous rounds of fighting between Israel and Hamas, the ceasefire is a pause. The conflict is not just unresolved, it is not even frozen. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Gaza.
The plight of one Palestinian community in Gaza. That was our Middle East editor, Jeremy Bowen.